Without taking a single snap in NFL regular season, Bo Nix has already made Denver Bronco history, being the first quarterback since the legendary John Elway for the Denver Broncos to start Week 1 as a rookie. And John Elway, that's a pretty good guy to be on team history with. I mean, probably the greatest Bronco of all time, right? And Bo Nix is already on his way. Okay, obviously I'm being a little facetious, but you get what I'm saying. Bo Nix is already on the right track, and it's honestly a good move by the Denver Broncos. Usually, I personally am against a rookie quarterback starting Week 1 in the NFL. I like to let them sit for 6-7 weeks, learning from a veteran experience, getting acclimated to the game at its fullest speed, and more of a gradual process, instead of getting right behind the offensive line Week 1. You know, more of like what the Packers did with Aaron Rodgers and now Jordan Love, what the Chiefs did with Patrick Mahomes, what the Falcons are trying to do with Michael Penix, you know. But this is the right move. This is the right move because the other two quarterbacks on the Denver Bronco roster are Jarrett Stidham and Zach Wilson. Not really those veteran experiences that you learn from. Those are also two young quarterbacks still trying to find their way in this league. Is it the right? I think it's absolutely the right choice to start Bo Nix Week 1. It is well deserved. It is well deserved by Bo Nix because of how he's played all offseason long. I mean, coming into the team as the 12th overall draft pick. I mean, in a lot of years, Bo Nix is a second, third, maybe even a fourth round pick. But this year, and based off everything we've heard around Sean Payton and the Denver Broncos, is that they absolutely loved Bo Nix. Everything from his pro day to the draft workouts, he amazed. He wowed. And so there's no doubt, there's no surprise here that Bo Nix is the starting quarterback for the Denver Broncos. It's not just from those pre-draft workouts, but it's also from how he's handled himself at practice. It sounds like he's been playing really well, making good decisions. Ask any beat reporter for the Broncos. He is definitely the best quarterback in that locker room, and it's not super close. Jarrett Stidham and Zach Wilson, on the other hand, that's a little bit close. We're focused on Bo Nix right now. Bo Nix also played really well in what we have seen of him during the NFL preseason. We heard about that week of practice, though, that he gave the Green Bay Packers in joint practice the work. So, yeah. And it wasn't even just him. It also sounded like Zach Wilson was doing pretty well and the Denver Bronco defense. But either way, that is what you want to see from the Broncos. Also, Jarrett Stidham even had a good week of practice. Yet, Jarrett Stidham has not looked that well in NFL preseason, but Bo Nix certainly has. Bo Nix last game kind of wrapped up the QB1 discussion when he went out and went 8-9. 8 of 9. Missed one pass, 80 yards, led to a touchdown. And his, 2 drives? So, yeah, Bo Nix with 140.7 quarterback rating that game definitely locked it up because Zach Wilson, who looked the best out of him and Jarrett Stidham, probably both games, but definitely the game before, it only went 2 of 6, 29 yards with a touchdown. And took a couple big sacks, one leading to a Green Bay Packers safety otherwise. But before that, Bo Nix played really well in the first preseason game as well against the Colts, completing 76% of his passes in both games, which is absolutely incredible, or average for both games, which is, phenomenal. Zach Wilson did have a great game against the Colts, going 10 of 13 with 117 yards and a touchdown. Jarrett Stidham is 0 for 2, so 0 touchdowns, 2 interceptions on the preseason, so not great. Bo Nix clearly wrapped this up. He's young, but he's making good decisions already. He might not be the most skilled guy in the world, but he's got the arm strength to throw with the best of them. He's got the capability, and now if he's making good decisions, Bo Nix is actually a force to be reckoned with. As for Jarrett Stidham and Zach Wilson, I mean, these are two guys that we didn't really expect them to be the starter, did we? They are not NFL starting caliber quarterbacks. There we go. Don't know why that was so hard. But Zach has actually looked really well in the preseason, even though the reports from the Denver Post is that Jarrett Stidham still might be QB too. And it seems like that's what they're favoring. They're debating whether carrying 3 quarterbacks onto the 53-man roster or trading Zach Wilson because he probably has more trade value than Jarrett Stidham, who has gone 0 for 1, or 0 for 2, like I said, 0 touchdowns, 2 interceptions, just not looked good in preseason, but has apparently looked really well in practice. Zach Wilson, they said, is going to get majority of the snaps in their final preseason game against the Arizona Cardinals, though Jarrett Stidham will start. So they feel like that's a sign that Jarrett Stidham's going to be the QB2, and that what they're really trying to do is make Zach Wilson look good in this last preseason game so somebody trades for him with a low draft pick and maybe get back what they got from the Jets. So I think this is a really good move by the Denver Broncos. Bo Nix is the guy. Jarrett Stidham's probably number 2. Try and get something for Zach Wilson and let Zach Wilson go thrive somewhere else. Okay, I mean, not thrive, but be a backup somewhere else. Maybe even go start for the Tennessee Titans or the New York Giants or somebody with a bad quarterback right now who is probably just going to be replaced next year with a high draft pick. But Zach Wilson's looked better. Still not good enough to compete with Bo Nix because Bo Nix has been playing super well. If you spend a 12th overall pick, he better be playing well. So it all makes sense. It all makes sense. He is the 6th quarterback drafted in the 6th quarterback first round for the NFL draft this last year. But everything looks good for Bo Nix right now. Obviously, they still got a lot to work on with that offense. Javonte Williams is going to be the starting running back, which there might have been some discussion about around the Broncos before, but now it's definitely Javonte Williams. Tim Patrick is looking really well, finally back from injury for 2 years. So that the Denver Broncos are going to be a much better team than they were a season ago. Maybe not much better, but I expect 8-9 wins out of them. So take that as you will. Bo Nix, congratulations, man. I'm glad to see you thriving. Glad to see you doing well. And I hope Sean Payton just works this offense perfectly around Bo Nix and that the Broncos can actually get back out of the crap hole that they've been in. So let me know what you guys think. Do you think Bo Nix is the starter for a long time there? Do you think it's the right move to start him right away? You heard my opinion. So let me know down below, and I'll be in the comments.